Welcome to the Estate Professionals Mastermind Podcast, a podcasting community by estate professionals for estate professionals, where we share the ideas and the access to people that help you work less, earn more, and do good in your community. If you get value in this free content, be sure to check out estateprofessionalsmastermind.com, where you can get live classes, access to weekly coaching, and free courses. To learn more, you can visit estateprofessionalsmastermind.com. Let's jump into this week's episode.
Hey, welcome to our Tuesday noon Pacific time, 3 p.m. Eastern time, Probate Mastery alumni call and estate planning mastermind call. I'm Bill Gross. We do this every Tuesday to share and learn together to be better. And this particular call is focused on real estate brokerage, real estate sales. There's a separate call every other, I think, Wednesday that's oriented for wholesalers and investors. But this particular call is for how to use the Probate Mastery program and material to improve your real estate sales practice and how to build a business in real estate sales. I'm Bill Gross. I'm a practitioner. I'm not a full-time coach. I don't get paid to do this call. I get paid for the adoration and love of all of you guys and your kind comments. But the reality is, I was on this call as a participant, and then when Chad wasn't able to host it for personal reasons, I said, well, I'll host it. I think I know how to do that because I need it. I think that as an expert, to me, is not a destination, but a process. I'm always looking to learn more, share with other successful people. And so we try to get on the call and help people through problems and challenges who are working in the business and share best practices to help all of us be better. So this is not available in the public. This is only available to people who are either one, Probate Mastery Program students or graduates, alumni, or two, current paid members of the Estate Planning Mastermind. And so it's no longer put on YouTube or recorded for those purposes afterwards. And just a real quick overview of some of the free resources available to help you along the way. Probate Mastery is the website where you're going to see all kinds of free content. There's a Facebook group, a YouTube channel, and a blog. The Facebook group is Probate Mastery Alumni, 1,700 members, and you come in here and post questions, problems, challenges, and it's pretty involved. And you'll get Chad to give you some answers, or I'll give you some answers, or somebody will. It's also a good place to promote related material. Now, what we don't want to do is be soliciting people unrelated, but related material is a good place to do that. And then I separately host my own podcast weekly, Thursdays at 4 p.m. called Probate Weekly. It's most commonly an interview format where I interview an attorney or a vendor in the business to help us learn more and do better. You can go to probateweekly.com and register there for free. And then I have a probate group as well in Facebook called Probate Experts. And we have 2,400 members in that group. And people, I post my content there, as well as there's the upcoming episode with Massachusetts probate attorney David Cirillo. And about real estate investing, and love to get you guys to come on here and ask questions and referrals and such. I post requests for referrals, but anyhow, that's mine. And then I also have a program called getprobate.cash, which is how to use probate advances as a tool to generate more business. As a realtor, for calling petitioners, one of the challenges is how to get the money to get a better attorney or to pay for expenses. Or for people getting ready to file. It's a great way to get the attorney's fees advanced. So getprobate.cash is Wednesdays at 8:30 a.m. Love to have you join us for there. And that's free. It's a free class overview. And then I also have a coaching program associated with that that's for sale, but you don't need to do that. Come to class every week and love to have you participate in that. Okay, so if you want to participate, this is the live call, Zoom call. Raise your hand in the reactions button on Zoom. Or if you're on video and wave your hand, I'll try to see you. Or put in the chat box a question and I will call on you. It's certainly more interesting when we share what's going on, and love to help you guys through any problems, and also love to share any victories that you guys have in your business. So how are we doing and how can I help you guys? You just got a question or challenge or problem. And hey, I'll give you a hint. If you don't have problems, you're not working hard enough, because we get paid to solve problems. The amount of money we receive is based on the value we create for other people. Solving the problems is how we get paid. So you need to look at it. So what problem do I have that I need to solve? maybe it's one you've given up on. Maybe we can help you solve the problem today. So also put in the chat box your contact info, where you sell real estate, where you're looking for help, if anything. Winston comes in, thank you for sharing that info, but feel free to put your contact info there if we can help in any way. Anyhow, who's got a question, challenge, problem, or victory they want to share with us today?
I'll pop in there.
Sure, go ahead.
So one of the, it's not a challenge other than budget. So I was with a firm before I moved back to my original broker, where we had our own mailing system, so I could do the letters and everything for 59 cents. It was pretty insane. I could take the list, send it to my operations manager, create one of the letters, like the six services or whatever letter we sent initially. And it was really inexpensive. Well, now I'm with EXP and a different brokerage, and now I'm looking for mailing services, and everywhere I go, it's insanely expensive. Even ATL is charging quite a bit. So if anybody has any way to, send those lists to a printer or a mailing service that, the CS, the leads we get or whatever, however you get them in a CSV file or something, to submit where they can merge the contact, the PR, the address and envelope, and stamp it and ship it out for something that's not $1.65 or something like that. It's pretty spendy.
So I think you'll find that in that world, there's two different groups of companies. There's the mailing house, and then there's kind of the value add mailing house. And so there are companies like All the Leads, and others that position themselves as value add. They add value to make it easier for you, but they charge for that. And then there are companies that are really just services that literally you just upload the data, you upload the template, and they'll do that for you. So the one that I've used is thanks.io. And they have some automations that are pretty cool, like in New with XP, like our KV Core website, and most websites will capture an IP address and try to cross-reference it to an address, to a mailing address. And so if somebody looks at my website and it cross-references and finds an address hit, you can send a postcard to them automatically based on certain criteria. So that's one way. But anyhow, Thanks.io has a whole campaign, postcards and letters, but you can buy their prepackaged stuff, or you can also upload your own. But I found them to be pretty competitive as far as just plain mailing.
Yeah, I really can do all. I mean, I've got the templates. I created them in my own letterhead and all that. I just need someone that can, here's the list, here's the letter, send them out.
Yeah, literally you upload yours. I've done this with semi-influence mailers and things like that. And I use Thanks.io, where you just upload the CSV and you upload the templated letter, whatever it is, and they'll print it out. And you pick the envelope and they put the stamp on it, or however you want it. They'll include stuff in it if you want stuff included in it. So they're pretty full service.
I'm still getting used to KV Core. That thing is like CRM on steroids. So I'm barely getting campaigns out to my clients, let alone learning how to do all the stuff it can do.
Yeah, well, you never learn all of it because they're adding stuff all the time. So like most software programs, make sure what you want to do is design your list of activities and make sure the software does what you want. So don't get too caught up and distracted into all the bells and whistles of any software, but make sure you're focused on what you want to do. Okay. Cool. Scott, thanks for checking in. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. Thank you for putting your contact info. We've got a few of you guys who did that. And we want to share information, and I'll have to catch some of that later myself. Very good. So Africa Froze. Winston Covington, let's get you here in the spotlight. What's going on, man?
Hey, Bill, got a question for you. It's my latest frustration. So maybe we can brainstorm this, because I'm sure other people are dealing with this. But I'm banging away on the latest list, and I would say probably 80% plus of the people are not picking up the phone. I'm leaving nice, positive, brief messages. I know what to say, but boom, no calls back. I don't know if we maybe should back it up 3 months where they're not getting so many calls, but I would love to hear what other people are doing to deal with that frustration of a very high percentage of people not answering, not returning calls. And I called on a Saturday, my last day that I called. it was tough. It was frustrating. So I want to find some information, some help to kind of bust through that and just keep going.
How many contacts did you average per hour?
To me, a live contact is when you speak to somebody. I would say I was averaging 1 to 2 live contacts.
Yeah, that's way too low. And how are you dialing? You dialing manually using a dialer?
Yeah, no, just manual.
Yeah. And so one thing I would recommend, and how many times you let the phone ring before you hang up?
You know what? Because I wanted to pick up their voicemail, and sometimes I would let it ring 5 to 6 times before it would kick in.
So in telemarketing, there's a couple basic fundamental rules. You have to track your number of contacts per hour. That's kind of like getting at bats in baseball. You can't hit a home run if you don't get to the plate, just by how good you are. And even the best hitters are going to hit, 1 in 3 times, and the worst hitters 1 in 4. But you got to be up. More at bats will get you more hits than anything else you can change in phone calling. So a couple basic rules, going back to this really fundamentals of telemarketing. I would hang up before the 3rd ring. That was a rule that I learned 20 years ago. And it was more radical then, because in those days, people did return voice messages. And I do know occasionally people say, oh, I left a message and I got back to me. But I'm going to tell you, the time you spend listening to the phone ring 4, 5, up to 8 times, and then waiting for their message to play, and then leaving a message, you add all that time up per hour, you're not going to get as many contacts per hour, even including those that might call you back. In fact, I would bet you get more people who call you back from a missed call than from messages in today's environment. So the first thing I would say is hang up before the 4th ring, number 1, and don't leave messages. I would ask you, how often do you return phone calls that are cold to you?
You don't.
Yeah, and see, it used to be we did because people were neighbors or we felt, and life got more jaded. Now, it might be different in rural areas or semi-rural areas where people are more friendly and neighborly and know each other. But even there, less and less every year. And I would definitely urge you to try these numbers, hang up before the 4th ring. I'd rather you go through the list, 3 more times, but if you can get more contacts per hour, you'll end up talking to more people and you'll, by definition, sell more houses. And so I'd rather you dial through that list 3 times as many times to get 3 times more contacts than to go through 1 time and leaving messages that are probably not going to be productive for you. Gotcha.
I'd be curious as to the people that are calling. If there's, I thought Saturday would be prime time. Struck out this time, but curious to see what other times people are calling and having maybe a better connection rate.
I think the people who I've coached over the years who've called on Saturdays or Sundays or evenings, the idea of catch people when they're otherwise available, is there's a subset of people who are available only those times. And so you're going to go through it and you capture the numbers. But I think it's really important, and if anybody else has experienced telemarketing, feel free to jump in here. I'd love to get your perspective. But I've coached a lot of real estate agents who telemarket, and I would say that what they do is typically do a Saturday or a Sunday or a weeknight once a month and kind of recycle those I've never picked up before. And I think when you talk about going back, I would always go back a ways. You have a certain amount of time to make your phone calls on a daily basis, and you want to call the newest ones first, and then you keep going older. At some point, you'll have more than you ever need. That's when you have to look at your which ones are picking up, the newer ones or the older ones. But I would say definitely I would limit the off prime time to a once a month type experience or once every other week. It's not going to be, you're not going to get enough numbers on it. You will get some people who've never talked to anybody because they're only available after hours or weekends, but it's a small percentage of that group is where you're going to find, I think. Anybody else have different experience than that? But I just can't emphasize enough, track your numbers. There's nothing that will help you more solving that puzzle like tracking numbers. So if you try it my way and you do it for 2 or 3 hours and you average less contacts, then I'm wrong. But while you're calling, if you hang up and you get those callbacks, count those as contacts. I think you'll find you should double, 1 to an hour, you're not going to make enough money. You really want to get to where you're averaging 8 contacts per hour as a minimum. And so I think you can get there if you are a little more disciplined on your dialing rules. Okay.
Yeah, thank you.
Sure. Okay. Who else has a question, challenge, problem? Victor, you want to share with us? No, I'll show you guys a victory I've had. It's really kind of old news, but it's one of those things that keeps giving. I'm a pretty smart guy. As a general rule, I think there's a little bit of a trade-off between maybe smart and, amiable, or smart and friendly. Maybe sometimes people who are too smart aren't, think they know everything and can be a little off-putting. So on that balance, I'd probably lean on the too smart side rather than too friendly side. But my entire career, broker said, don't get involved with commercial. It's a separate business. And I think I've come to realize that was just more the broker telling me that because they wanted me to fit in a box so they could, I might refer business to their other agents who are commercial. Because the truth is, in my experience in the last 3 years, I opened up to doing commercial business. I took some training, truly free training. There's a lot of free training available. It was enough to make me comfortable. When it came time to do something, I read the forms. I read the commercial listing agreement form, the commercial purchase agreement form. I actually read the forms. I know for most realtors, that's revolutionary. And as a result, when I had clients who had a commercial property, I didn't pass on it, I listed it. And same with vacant land. And I can tell you the last 2 years, and maybe it's a little longer now, but maybe about 2 years, so I've done a couple $100,000 of commissions in non-residential property that I used to either avoid or refer out and not get anything on. And most recently, I have a property that's going into escrow that I believe I'm double ending. I haven't got paid on it. It's a long ways from being paid. My point is, I may not know enough about the product, but I have the relationship and I have the probate knowledge. And because of that, the attorney wants to refer the business to me. If I have questions about the product, I can always get those questions answered. I can learn that information. And it turns out, at least in my market area, it's common to list commercial property in the MLS, but additionally, you can pay to list individual listings in CoStar LoopNet. So my listings get as much visibility as any agent in the business, and actually more because I'm in CoStar LoopNet, advertised for modest fee, less than monthly CoStar LoopNet fee is, plus I'm in the MLS. And so I can show that to my clients, saying I can actually get you more publicity, more marketing strength than anybody else is going to. And as a result, I've been selling everything I've listed or gotten in escrow most recently, everything I've ever listed in the area. So I would just urge you to focus on the relationship and to the extent, either find a partner who can help you with the product, or if your broker can, or find somebody who can help you through the process. But I would say, I think I've told this story before. One of the greatest business books ever written was called In Search of Excellence by Tom Peters. And he took the best American companies at that time, 1980, and evaluated them as to what made them successful. It was interesting. One of the things he found about most of the companies, he used McDonald's as an example, was they did a few things really well. Because back in 1980, McDonald's only sold Big Macs, Quarter Pounders, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, fish, fries, and malts. That was their 1980s menu. And he said that's why they were great. Well, McDonald's still is great. The average store, I think, grosses over $3.5 million a year. And they make a tremendous amount of money. But they've had to diversify their product offerings. Now, I keep kosher, so I don't eat there, but I know they have salads and ice cream and breakfasts and coffee. I go there for their coffee is great, by the way. So I know they diversified because the market required them to, or I should say, those people who had a relationship with McDonald's asked for additional products, and they've added some to enhance the customer's relationship. I'm not saying McDonald's is the best food in the world, but they certainly have a fantastic business. And they did it and I think every business has had to expand their product offering. Even Porsche, for example, came out with a lower price Porsche to get people into their brand at a higher price point later. So just something to think about is, are you focused on your product? Can you expand either the product type, or can you expand your geography in a way that helps you build your business? For me, I'm also building a network of agents nationally. And I happen to join the company and organize myself to do that. but I'm looking to build more people, add more people, more areas geographically as a way to leverage my success where I do have to try to be able to serve my current customers in a bigger geographic footprint. How can you do that? So think about your business and how you can look outside of just what you're doing. These are competitive times. It's a competitive market. I think it's a great opportunity for those of us in probate especially, but let's make sure we're being smart about running a business. We're not locked into, I'm a realtor and I do what my broker told me to do. That we really should look at it as I'm a business person. Real estate is the service I'm offering, but I'm building a business. And sometimes that means expanding our offering either product wise or geography wise. Okay. Questions? Nobody has any problems today. You guys are all just killing it and busy depositing checks. Is that what I should understand? Oh, there's Dan saving you guys. He's raised his hand. Good, Dan. What's going on? Let's get you unmuted. Hold on 1 second.
Hey, there we go. Okay. Hi, Bill. Yeah, it's my first time on the program here. I'm new. Just finished the CPE course.
Nice.
And I got a couple of questions. One, when is that Zoom meeting that you mentioned for the investors and wholesalers? Because I am not an agent myself.
The McKenna can put in the chat box, but I believe it's Wednesdays. It's every other Wednesday. I'm not sure the time because I don't attend it. I should be able to look it up though, I guess. Huh?
I'll chime in here.
Okay.
The investor call for EPM members only is every other Wednesday at the same time as this call. So it is tomorrow.
So you say, hold on, EPM members, so only, huh?
Yep, for state professional mastermind members.
I see. Okay. All right. So my little CPE isn't going to get me there. Okay. Number 2 question. Anybody have a person who has these pre-designed websites that would be applicable for an investor who's got the probate focus, wants to help out, wants to do some good in that field? Just kind of looking for something cut and paste to put onto a web address.
So, I get asked this a lot. I'm glad to take any other answers that people have. I would say I would give you 2 pieces of the answer. Number 1, I subscribe to alltheleads.com's website. I don't use their data, but I do use their website just because it was simple and easy. And then I made a deal with them, which allowed, now you have to negotiate this on your own. They allow me to copy and paste, because I'm paying for it. I copy and paste it into my own personal website. So I have their website they provide, and then I have my own website, and I copy and paste their content into mine. It's pretty affordable. I want to say it's like $39 a month. So once you have a website, then you but theirs includes the hosting and the whole thing. Like it just, you put in the template information and you're done with that. And then you just put your domain there. I think that, I don't know your case. I'm certainly glad to coach you individually, but I say in general, as we build a business, you want to think about any business you build, you have to invest one of 2 things, or both of them. Number 1's time, and the second's money, right? Those are the resources we put into a business to build it. Just like a baker has to have flour and sugar and water and whatever else he needs, and energy and a place to bake, we have to have time and or money. But if we run out of either one, we're out of business, right? So I find agents too quick looking for a website in particular, because you're going to have so little traffic going there. Start with something small that's free and reinvest your profits. Now, you might say, Bill, I'm independently wealthy. Great, then get a website. But for most people listening to this call, I would say, I often see agents who haven't done a deal. And if you have a company, most companies give you a basic website as part of the package. If you're an agent, for example, if you're independent, Dan, you might just consider a Facebook page. And then you have a domain that points to the Facebook page, and that's free. And you can put some content there as you get more knowledgeable. And then when you're ready to close your first deal, I don't know where you are in your process, but at some point, then you want to have a more full-fledged website. But particularly investors, I think that I would say 2 things as somebody who works with investors all the time. Too many people are very anonymous. I think they spend so much energy hiding who they are. They lose business. And how many really spam calls do you really get? How much spam email do you really get? I mean, I know it bothers people, but is it worth all the energy we go to hide versus you meet people, they want to look you up and find you. I think if you don't make it easy for them, they can't find you. I'm on a lot of social media. I have a lot of videos. I put my phone number and email out there to everybody. I don't get that many spam calls where I'd want to give that up. So again, my best advice to you would be consider just filling out in detail a good Facebook page or LinkedIn. I like Facebook better because you can put a website, your email, your phone number, you can attach documents. It's more full flavored. And then the next step would be buy a domain name like danbenishinvestor.com or whatever. And then you can just forward that domain to your Facebook page. So people, when they see the address, they won't know, but it'll go there and they'll see all your information.
Okay, very good. Thank you. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. And then also you can, on there put content, you can repurpose content. I would say, if you're in the probate mastery, take one of the modules and write up a post on what you learned from that module. Just share what you've learned. People want to learn about your journey and your process. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's good counsel.
Thank you. Thank you, Dan. Okay, good. Who else has a question, challenge, problem, comment? Rhonda's on section 2 of the probate mastery class. Okay, Rhonda, are you new and you're sharing that you're new, or you've been around too long and you're stuck on section 2 and we need to give you a little push in the tush? What's going on with you?
I'm new, so I don't have any problems yet.
Okay, well, again, you want to have problems. That's how we get paid. So get on it and then come back next week with some problems, okay?
Okay, thank you.
And what do you sell real estate, Rhonda? So you can mute it. There you go.
I sell it in Friendswood, Texas, right outside of Houston.
Well, very nice. We'll look forward to hearing good things about you. And again, at the same time, bring back any problems you have too, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. That's the purpose of the call. Really, I envision this as I need a place to come to share my problems and learn from other people, as well as I want to hear the best practices so I can use that to help build my business. So this is not meant to be just for people to share who've got it all together. If you know anybody has it all together, let me know. I'd be glad to step aside and let them share more or share what they're doing. And I do interview people from time to time who I find have a piece of area they're successful in. And I find those people also have problems they're working on all the time. And I think that's their human nature. So, okay. Anybody else have it? Yes.
I'm going to put the domain that I have from ATL in the chat, just not to try to promote it, but just to let you guys know what their site looks like if you're interested, because
Nice.
I have all kinds of domains pointing to landing pages, which capture their info if they want more info. But for just probate for $39.95 a month, I figured it was worth it to get a nice professional website. And they had a promo for the setup for cheap compared to what it was normally. And I did it. And, you got to promote it. You got to get it out there for people to go to it. But
right.
I even bought another county that I'm not even getting leads in because it was available. So they both point to the same page. But now King County and Snohomish County, I own snowcoprobatesolutions.com and King County or I called it Kingco because that's kind of a common, name for our county here in Snowco. So good domains, just got to get it out there for people.
Nice. I like it. So yeah, so what he's done, just for those who, just to kind of recap, is he bought the domain snowcoprobatesolutions.com. He separately bought a service from allleads.com, which was this basic format. I want to say basic, this template, and then you can make some changes, colors, and personal information. He points his domain to the All the Leads website they gave him, and voila, he has a customized website. And it has opportunities to person. Oh, look at that. Some good looking guy. Scott, who's that good looking guy you had the picture of?
I'm a good photographer.
Wow, those are some good filters. I'm just kidding.
Hey, come on now. I mean, I'm sure they're a little bit filtered. Hell, I'm 62 today.
Wow, congratulations. Happy birthday.
That looks, he made my teeth whiter than paper though. So that's good.
Nice. So, and look at this. They have right in there a probate advance. I guess they have a relationship with one of the companies, and I guess they offer to give you a referral fee if you get one, or is this something they keep? Do you know the deal with that? You don't think about it. So I believe they have a relationship with one of the probate advanced companies. And then I believe that if you get a case, a customer who uses this, you get a referral fee probably of a couple $100 or something. And as a result of that, that would pay for your website probably for a year if you just got one person to do that. So
Yeah, we do. We actually get commission on advance if somebody took advantage of it.
yeah, good. Yeah. Look, there's companies that do that. I offer, I actually kind of create my own brokerage on that because I found that some of them were lacking in some of the service standards. But if it works for you, great. If it doesn't, I have a program, getprobate.cash, where I both talk about that product as well as create affiliates who want to do that as well. But again, that's their basic website for Dan, who's asking that. And I don't think it, let's see, I don't think
You
it
can
talks-
add pages. There's more you can do if
Right.
you want to get real fancy and if you're
Right.
doing a lot of business. But
right.
$40 was cheap enough for me to, I think what did it was the setup fee. It was $199 and they offered it for, I think, 39 or something. And I just, let's do it. And they were done in a couple of days. I had to get the domain though. You got to find a good domain to point.
Right.
And GoDaddy's probably as good as any that I know of.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think they have realtor ones, they have investor ones, and you can pick and choose about the content that you want. So that's to me, that's as good a solution as there is right now. It's one that I've used and I've copied their content into mine. Again, I don't know if they allow for everybody or not. You have to ask, and you won't be in compliance with any copyright type issues, but they allowed me to, and I got in writing an email to add their content to my website as well. Joyce, you got your hand up?
Yes,
just-
sir. I wanted to ask, I have an ATL website and I would like to make additions or changes to it. And I'm not sure they will let me. Does anybody know if I can make those changes?
Yeah, I would just email support at ATL or whatever their page is, because they were really helpful with what I wanted. And, they built it for me. I said, what do you guys think? And it came back and I thought, well, I'm not going to build it any better. I'm not a web designer.
Yeah, they built mine also. But it's been several years and I wanted to add some currency to it. And so.
Yeah, I would definitely reach out. They're nice to help.
Okay, I'll give it a try. Thank you.
I would believe they do. The cost of the web hosting has come down so much that, you might also, these days, almost any web package you can create. There was a time when, monthly, the web hosting was about $40 a month. I think these days you can get pages or whole website hosted for $2, $3, $4, $5 a month. But again, I think $40 a month is in your budget. I think it's a great solution. And they're in my experience, they're pretty customer service oriented. So I would definitely reach out to them, Joyce. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, good. Who has a victory they want to support? They want to share with us this week? Anybody? You want to share any victories?
Not with probate, but.
Well, yeah, it should be related to probate. I think we all have stuff we should brag about, but happy for you. Whatever the victory is. But anybody have anything in particular in probate you want to share as far as building your business or your real estate practice in general? No?
Hey, Bill.
Yes.
I got a victory I want to share.
Great.
Been working on my business a lot, and just kind of working on my business as things have slowed down. So I went through some old probate leads that I had from 2020, from January 1st till December 31st. So I had 31 leads. So I went through those and I checked on all the real estate that was showing that was in the estate. And of the 31, 12 had sold. And a lot of them actually not too recently. So I had 19 left, put together a really short letter and just said, and they had gone through my marketing deal, my letter campaign over time. And I just said, either you are personal representative of this estate. And unfortunately, we never had the chance to actually chat. But I was just wondering if the property at whatever the address you might be thinking of selling it at this time. Please let me know. That's about the whole letter. So I got a call back, and I'm working with somebody.
So how many letters you sent out?
19.
So if you sent out 19 and got one, that's about 5% ratio.
Well,
Is it-
you know what? Actually, I got 2, except the information that I had on the lead was not quite accurate. So it was like I sent it to like Joe A. Smith, and it was actually Joe B. Smith. So it had a different property that they didn't own, and they just said what was going on. But I did get a response anyways from it.
Okay.
But yeah, the first one was like, yeah, I got your letter, and I'd like to get together and talk to you about selling the property.
Well, so 2 things I would say is, number one, 5%, response rate is fantastic. They say in direct mail marketing, you should average about 2%. And I think that's about accurate. If you're over the target, that's what you should expect. But I would say the second thing is, take out the one that is wrong and the one you got, and continue to mail the other 17 every month or so, and until you stop getting a response. And then add in newer ones than the ones you did. One of the challenges is, at that small number, you spend more time getting the mailer out. You have to add all that into your timing to get a contact. But how can you expand that? Can you expand it geographically? Can you expand it date-wise? What can you do to get more into that list of 19, which is now probably 17?
Well, I was thinking this was going to be the last shot. I just needed this one right, direct and to the point.
Mhm.
And I got it. And the other thing it showed me is, like, even if you have some of these older leads and you haven't been touched in a while, they're still maybe viable. And it was funny, like I said, these are all from probates that were filed in 2020. And you know how the market's been, but I'd say of those 12 that ended up being sold, when because I started with 31, the ones that sold, a lot of them were last year. I mean, the end of last year, even.
I think the average time period to sell is over 2 years on average. Average means half before and half after. And if I go through the court sales, just because I have it at my fingertips, court sales scheduled in LA County right now, I can read off the years: 22, 22, 22, 2019, 21, 21, 21. Oops, I hit 21, 22, 22, 22, 22, 2018, 18, 22, 22, 17, 20, 21. Half of them are before 2022. So that number, the average is 2 years. And what you might do, if you ever, Frank, you're in Orange County, you're in San Diego County, right?
Carlsbad, yeah, North County, San Diego.
Yeah, it'd be interesting if you actually just did a full detailed list of the, I don't know if you have the file date and then you have the sell date, just to run the number. And I think that data then becomes really valuable for your marketing. But I know in LA, it's 2 years. I've run the data about once a year. I do like a detailed data analysis, and so that helps you understand. If half are over 2 years, that means probably a quarter over 3 years. And that means they've maybe lost attachment to the initial realtors who called them. They lost attachment maybe to their attorney. It's not always litigation. Oftentimes it's just neglect. It's just conflicts with a couple of family members. Somebody died. The initial person died or got sick. So there's a lot, as there's a lot of reasons why these things happen. I would go back even older and add to your list until that number drops off. And the other thing is, indirect mail, I'm not an expert in it, but I would try different pieces. If you do a letter once, try a postcard. Hey, you see my letter from last month? I'm just calling to see if it's still available. It might be another cheaper way, maybe a second, third, and then do a fourth one, do a full letter again.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing with the more current stuff. But now know that list of initially what was just 31, and I saw that 12 were sold, that group from 2020 was a lot bigger than that. And so there was a lot of properties that along the way did sell more quickly. So, but you know, I just found it kind of funny with the market as hot as it was, and these probates were older, and the last, 20, 21, 22, as we wound down, were pretty hot markets.
Yeah.
And if they were going to sell it, I thought that they may have, some of those that were still left would have sold little back a little further, but I was surprised that there were a lot that
Well,
was sold at the end of the last quarter of last year and into the beginning of this first quarter of this year.
there's a lot of reasons why they don't. Sometimes people just get busy, get sick, somebody dies. They were going to try to fix up on their own and sell it. They rent it for a year. There's an heir living there that they live for a couple of years. As soon as they move out, they let them go. There's a trailing heir who passes. There's a million different stories. And I think it's just not as complicated. And so when we call them brand new, they all have a solution. But
Right.
as the saying goes, everybody has a solution till they get punched in the face or plan to get punched in the face. And life happens to all of us. So, but thanks for sharing that. And again, I think it's just a testament to have a plan, work the plan, be efficient and productive, and be relentless on it.
Yeah. I have some older leads from 2019. I'm going to go through that same process again, just see what might still be hanging out there.
And I think for now you're in Carlsbad. So again, I think another thing is you're going to find it just complements whatever else you're doing in real estate, right? Because accidentally you're going to mail to one of your own clients if you haven't already. Accidentally, you're going to mail to one of your vendors. Accidentally, you're going to mail to somebody you met at some networking event that you never kept their information. They're going to recognize you. So these are kind of things where hopefully there's some synergies between what you're doing elsewhere and this business as well.
Yeah, I'm just trying to fall in love with the process, and things will land the way they should.
Yep, very good. Good job, man. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Will.
Sure. Louisa asks, do we have letters that you can use, something like 6 touches? I don't believe in Probate Mastery we have a set of templates available. If McKenna can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we don't really have that as a product.
You know what? That's where I kind of grabbed some of the letters that I had, because I was using some others. And so I revamped at the end of last year all my letters for marketing. And I got a whole section of them from the Probate Mastery course. And
you did?
And I've tweaked them a little bit.
Okay.
To my liking. So yeah. So they're there.
They're in the Probate Mastery course. Okay, good. Been a while since I took it. And I never really, I stopped doing direct mail after before I took the class. So I wasn't paying attention to that section. McKenna, I don't know if you could direct us to where in the Probate Mastery, what section that would be in. But Eloise Torres is asking about that. That'd be great. Okay, good. Frank, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Great.
I see Scott, likewise. I see your hand up, Scott, again. What's going on?
Well, Frank went off, but
I'm still here.
There is a ton of templates. I use the templates from ATL on the website. So, I mean, all my letters are exactly as they have given examples of other letters. And I just customized them, put them on my letterhead or whatever. So there's all kinds of templates for follow-up, 2-year, 6-month letter, and all that stuff. But for me, sometimes budget is the issue. And I still keep all the leads that I get in the CSV files. And some of them, if you have time, eventually, we all have CRMs. Eventually, if you add them to your CRM and tag them as a probate lead or whatever, there's also siblings, there's other people that are, mentioned in that.
Right.
Those are just potential people that might have a house to buy or sell at some point. So I wouldn't throw any of them away. I would keep them in some kind of drip campaign. And if you have a good CRM, you can put them in an email campaign that doesn't cost you anything, but you're still touching them, because lettering or letters can be very expensive nowadays with postage and all the other stuff. So, create mail campaigns that just kind of touch base once a month, once every quarter. You never know when someone's going to answer an email that you send. I get them all the time out of random people. I'll just say, hey, and send a blast out and somebody will respond. And I mean, it's just another way to keep in touch with people without having to spend the money on direct mail, because you don't know if it's a good lead or bad lead, but they can opt out. You got to have that so you don't get in trouble for spamming or whatever. But KV Core is good at that as far as mail campaigns, and just do it once a month. So
You're
There are
talking
all
about
kinds of
email
leads in there.
to be, so a couple of things, just to clarify some terms here, just be a little more precise. You're talking about emailing out when you say mail, not postage mail. You're talking about emailing out regularly.
Right,
So
because
I would,
postage mail is the budget, but you still
Right.
have an email a lot of times
Right.
in the lead as a contact for the PR and even the other siblings. And sometimes the siblings talk to you more than the PR does. But I'm just saying, as a secondary database of drip campaigns instead of postage mail, get them in an email campaign in your
Right.
CRM and just touch base
right.
periodically. You might catch somebody on a day after they didn't want to talk to anybody, and they keep hearing from you every month, and 6 months, a year later, they go, I'm gonna, reach out to this person or whatever.
So I coach agents, and what I do personally is everybody I talk to, and I get their email and or their permission to stay in touch, I email everybody at least once a week. I don't think once a month. Once a month might be good if you're selling, other services, but I think real estate, you're trying to show you're a salesperson. So I send out real estate related content weekly, not Happy St. Patrick's Day. We all hate those. Not, I just listed a house. Nobody really cares. But here's what's happening in the market. Here's what's happening in your local market. Here's what's happening with mortgage rates, something to that effect. And so I think we all should have, if we're real estate agents, have some sort of a weekly campaign to everybody we've ever met. And we're adding in those people as we talk to them on the phone into that list to email out to. Also, your email will kind of then start generating social media. They'll see you on Facebook, other things as well. That's kind of all that stuff works. So I think you're 100% right. I'd also just caution everybody, when you buy from these companies, like all the leads, they're really selling you data. It should be all the data.com. A name, an address, a phone number, an email is data. When you contact them and create a relationship, then they may become a lead at some point. You put them in your system. And so just make sure, I think there's a psychological game being played with you. You're not overvaluing these, but you also want to reuse your data, recycle your data. And so whether it be, going back to the old ones, that's great, or recalling or emailing out to old ones, that's great. Once you made it into a lead though, the average lead from opening to close sale is 2 years on average. And so you have to have somebody stay in contact with them for that period. And I would say email is a very effective way to do that. And social media is another effective way to do that. So once you have their email address, you can start to begin that process of staying in touch with them more regularly. So just be careful. But I think you're right, Scott, we should be asking to talk to all these people. Okay, so Eloisa, I think the answer is all leads.com has some templates. And I don't know, again, if there's templates in the probably master course. I imagine there was something there, but I can't speak to that myself. I'm not using those. So I think we focus a lot on what the letters say versus getting something out there personally. But I mean, I know the people who will get scientific about it, but from, zero mailers to getting it done, I think you'll find your own. Do you guys like all the leads marketing direct mail, and how does that work for you? Anybody have any feedback using the all leads marketing direct mail system? I think somebody initially said it was just expensive. And I don't know that I would say it's expensive. It's not free. And you're paying them to do some of the work. But it certainly is easy to use. So having used it before, I don't use it anymore though. Okay. And it's not that I'm against mailing. I just, I can only do so much. And my focus right now is referrals from attorneys and vendors, and I use social media to generate that. As well as direct mail, but I use a service house for that. Okay, any other questions? We got about 5 minutes left before we wrap up. Questions, comments, challenges? Anything particular you'd like to see in this program? Is there any particular content you'd like to see us add to what we're doing here?
No, we're doing good.
Well, thanks, Juan. I see you unmute yourself. What can we do for you?
Yeah, my biggest challenge in this scenario is I can't do everything, so I have to hire people to do things for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just going through, this is going to be my third caller probably in the last year that I'm rotating out. So that's my biggest challenge, is to hire someone and keep them working, because I used to call myself, but I had to stop because I got just too involved. I've been doing this probate thing from 2016.
Good for you.
you know, and all the leads has been my number one vendor in all this time, and they have everything that you need on their website. You know, the letters, the postcards. I also am a real estate agent. Everybody is a real estate agent doing all this also.
Most everybody on this call is a real estate agent. That's what it's designed for.
Yeah. So this, I incorporate this into my real estate company. The way I get people to call me and to answer my mail is I send them something that they need. Every probate that has to settle the estate needs a broker's price opinion or an appraisal on the property. So you have to offer them a free broker's price opinion. You make it look really nice, and you know, get a chance to go in there, and you get a 10-minute window of opportunity of giving them your elevator speech. And if you win them over and you continue talking with them, is fantastic. So far, and I'm not bragging, but so far this year, I've brought 2 probates and I listed 4.
Nice.
And I'm in the process of renovating 2 from last year, and that they'll be coming on the market probably in May. This business is very, very lucrative. All you have to do is apply yourself, and you can make a fortune.
Now, Ron, what state do you do business in?
New Jersey, Union County.
Got it. So what you're saying is, it sounds like in New Jersey, in Union County, New Jersey, a probate uses a broker price opinion for value. Some states, like California, uses a court-appointed probate referee. So in New Jersey, you have a unique opportunity by doing a broker price opinion to get in and meet people. That's fantastic. I think that's
Well, they request the value of the property at the time of death. So their only option is an appraisal, which is $700, or Ron, which is free. And you know, since I'm a New Jersey licensed broker, I can offer that, you know, to them. And once they nibble on the hook, you got them hooked. You just reel them in nice and slowly, and you can do something. I give them clean outs, people that do clean outs. I have a whole bunch of literature all about them.
nice.
You know, I send them one of these. This is my postcards that I send out. And
Nice.
I'm not bragging, but that postcard costs me $1 stamp to send out, and I send out about 50 a month. And on there's their options and all of my contact information. And you'll be surprised how many painters I have, how many electricians, and these people need your help. And you guys should be always there to help them. And once you do that, you open that door, you'll do really, really well once you start servicing these guys.
Well, I appreciate the information and the help. What's your last name?
Miodaszewski.
Whoa, okay.
Short Polish name.
Yeah, okay, good. So appreciate your sharing all that information. Congratulations on your success, and keep it up. And love the value added approach or contribution approach. So thank you for sharing that with us.
Yep.
Okay, there you go. And there's Ron from New Jersey, Ron M. Hence that. Let's see who I see a hand up, but where's the person? Oh, there's Cindy. Let's get you unmuted, Cindy.
Hi, Bill. Hi, everybody.
Hi, how you doing?
Good, thank you. How about yourself?
Real good. How can we help you?
I just finished the program to get that I got certified. My question is if anybody had any quick tips on how to start. I'm about to do the earn one as well.
Great. Well, I get that question a lot, Cindy. Are you a brand new agent or are you an experienced agent?
Not new, but I just started this 2 years ago.
Started real estate 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Wow.
And have you been able to sell houses in the meantime, or you?
Yes, and I have a land listing right now. So if anybody wants to buy land, let me know in California.
And where are you located in California?
Los Angeles.
That's where I'm at. So my best advice for people who are in real estate is, and just to go back to the prior conversation with Scott, you can't bypass the center of influence, sphere of influence. What do you want to call Mets? What company are you with, Cindy?
Keller Williams.
Mets. You can't get around that. People say, well, I don't really want to, but you got to start with the people you know and like and trust, and know and like and trust you. And then whatever you're doing, you're going to add into that list. And I believe you need to stay in touch with them weekly, every you know for the rest of your life, whether they're probate or not probate, regarding real estate. Once you've done that, once you've set up your weekly email, your social media posting that you're going to send to everybody that you know, like, and trust, and knows, likes, trust you, you start adding people in the probate space. You might start offering content about probate or avoiding probate to your database. You might start with that. Then once you have that up and running, then the question is, well, now where do you get more business? And you have to pick your prospecting technique, whether it be phone calling or going door to door, door knocking, or going live to networking events, or going online to networking events, or creating leads via on social media. Those are the 5 opportunities you have to generate more leads. You can buy data, the data you either have to call or mail or do something with. So it depends on you. I'd be glad to share with you kind of a one-on-one, kind of some coaching ideas I have. I know also on Probate Mastery, there's a free exploratory call. So I would look for people who've done what you want and try to copy their program format. But I would urge you to start with, get your database together and get the machine going of the weekly email and the regular posting of social media content that you can plug in both probate and avoiding probate, estate planning and such, into your database, if that helps a little bit.
Okay, so start implementing probate in that.
Yeah. If
Great.
you have that already done, then go on to learn something about probate. Go on to the Facebook group and find a question or find a post that you find interesting and share that with your people. Solicit input, solicit questions. Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Good luck. Okay. I think that puts us at the wrap up hour. So thank you for everybody who participated. Scott and Ron, Joyce. I know Dan, Winston, as always. Gosh, I forget the name. Cindy, thank you for participating and sharing your information. I know it's challenging. I know it kind of puts you on the spot. We do this every week. The goal of this is to help us all be more successful in our business. So please feel free to bring challenges, questions, and then post them in the Probate Master group. I'll look for those questions as well to bring them here next week. So I'm Bill Gross. If I can help you, you can see me on social media at Bill Gross EXP, or call me 310-210-0008, or message me on Facebook. I'm on the Probate Mastery Alumni Group regularly, or my own probate group, Probate Experts, in Facebook. And I also host my own podcast, probateweekly.com. Hope to see you there. Make it a great week, everybody. Thank you so much.